Hello, creative people. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. My name's Josh. This is Create the Future, playing a little Techtonica. In this episode, we're going to do the second upgrade of Terminal Victor. In this episode, we're going to be building our first assembly production to create plant matter frames, which means that we're going to need to create some new refiners and miners for copper and iron, unless you want to go and pipe conveyor belts or manually transfer all the iron and copper that's being created over here, which I ideally don't want to do. Instead, we need to figure out where we can find some local copper and iron over here. So I see iron over there. You can see it shining. And then if I remember right, there is copper. Yep, as we were scanning those assemblers earlier, there's copper right here. So we're going to go into this menu because it keeps yelling at me in the log menu. And we're going to hide some of these logs. And then we're going to get rid of this. And then in the tech tree, we're going to start looking at some different technologies. So we got mole speed, synthesis. We need to find one more scannable assembler. And then we got plant matter to create the gardens for fuel. We have the thresher that you'll use to thresh the plant matter to separate it into stuff that you can use for fuel versus the seeds, and then you use the seeds to replant the planters and you create a little system there. We got logistics, so there's our cargo upgrades. We have our filter inserters. We have our fast inserters. We have long inserters. We got a tool belt. We got conveyor belt unlock that makes faster conveyor belts. We got transportation, so we got speed upgrades and a hover pack. Energy. So we got our power grid so that we can create powered floors, because eventually the machines that we use need electricity, and that's this whole power menu here. And then you'll use crank generators, and then the accumulator is what's used to store energy, but the crank generators are water powered. So as you can see, there's a stream going next to us. And then lastly, you got the science tier where you can create beacons. We have processor units. Here's our core reassignment, so that as we use the technology, if we don't need it, we can reassign it. We got our mass collectors. We got lights. And then our mass deconstructs, which I talked about in previous videos that I wasn't necessarily a big fan of, because I was afraid to delete too many things at once, so I never upgraded that. The mass collector I was uploading. This mass collector is what is used with your mole. So instead of you having to go through here and hand grab all of these plants, you come in here, you level it out, and you get all the plant matter, and it continues to level the ground. But look at the plant matter collection now. It was giving us like one. Now we're collecting limestone and massive amounts of plant matter. So as you're upgrading that mass collector, essentially it's increasing the area of which this mole is collecting. So it's really nice. So to get things started, we're going to use our mole and we're going to kind of level out this area. I'm going to dig it out a little bit so that we have access to this copper vein a little more. And then we'll level this area out. And as we're going through here, we're also collecting a bunch of limestone and plant matter, which is nice. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to scan these lights. And as you can see, this is what I was talking about over on the other side. Like that first area is well lit, but then you come over here and it is dark. So you definitely need those lights to light this area up. And I like cleaning this area out. so that it's easily accessible. Be leveling it out. I'm gonna dig this copper out a little bit so we have access to more of this vein. But yeah, let's go in here and we're gonna go into our miner. We're gonna go over here to production. And we're gonna create 4 mining drills. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna create 4 smelters. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna come over here to utility and we're gonna create 2 containers. 1, 2. And I think that should be good for now. But yeah, plant matter frames, they take plant matter fiber, which we currently don't have any. This is something you have to create. I'm not sure if we'll get to it on this video, but we're at least gonna start setting up the systems to get us to that point. So this first step is we're going to create this, and I wanna make it so it's accessible once we power the fuel. So we're gonna put that here. And then we're gonna give it a gap, and we're gonna put this one here. Then we're gonna go in here and fill it with fuel. And then we also got these fast inserters, but I don't know if I'm gonna use those right now. So we're gonna start feeding, setting up the system. Get our smelters in place. And then we're gonna go back to the inserters and move the handoffs. And then we'll create a conveyor belt. And then we'll get the cargo container. The inserters to unload, and voila. Then we'll put some plant matter in that, some plant matter in that, and then our copper production as well. And now that we have these lights, we'll go in here and throw some lights down so that this area is nice and well lit, or at least better than what it was. It's not dark. We got a lot of lights, so not an issue with putting quite a few of them over here. So now we got this lit up. So now we got copper. We'll go ahead and come over here and do the same thing with iron. And here's our other assembler.
Task inbound. Assembler. Power with electricity to produce items in multiplied quantities.
In other words, even though you can handcraft anything, assemblers will make 2 of them in the same time it takes your portable tool to make 1. And we can build 1,000 assemblers, but nobody could ever build another you.
How sentimental, Sparks. So now that we have everything for the assembler, we're gonna clean this little area out. We'll set up our iron. Have the start of our process. And there's a new tool here that I had missed while we were scanning. Voila! So we get these lights so that we can actually use them. We're gonna clear this out a little more. And then this iron vein's pretty open and visible, so I don't have to do too much digging here, but we'll clear this out a little bit so that there's space around it and that we don't have to worry about running into a wall later. So just like we did with the copper, we're going to come in here to our mining drills. I'm going to spin them so they're the right direction, and I'm going to try to make it so that they are in line. So we'll do that there, and then we'll do that there. And we'll put some plant matter in there, we'll put some plant matter in there, and then we'll set up our inserters. Boom, 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 and boom. And then we'll do our smelters. Alright. And then we'll inspect plant matter there, some plant matter there. Get the last of our inserters to take the materials out. Conveyor belt to connect it. And then a storage unit. And then inserters. And then we'll put our lights down. And there we go. We got our iron production set up and running. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go exploring a little bit. Actually, let's look at our tech tree. So we got the long inserter unlocked and the assembler MK1, which allows us to, like she shared, instead of building stuff in our personal inventory, we're going to use an automated assembler that all we need to do is pipe it with materials and it'll build stuff on our behalf. So the problem here is that when we're building, we're going to need both iron and copper, and they are on entirely different sides of the map right now. So what does that mean, friends? We're gonna have to start building our first little conveyor system to get stuff from over here to the other side of the river, which is not very fun. A lot of building. We got a light down here. I'm just gonna grab real quick. But my thoughts is we're gonna centralize everything around the Victor factory. So let's go ahead and start clearing this out a little bit. So there's all of this plant matter here. Let's work on leveling this whole area out and clearing out these rocks. Essentially, we're going to make this our production environment, because eventually you get to a point where everything has to go to this Victor machine with these ports, these insert ports. So we're just going to clear this area out and we're going to make this our production environment. And we're going to light it up. Make it look real nice. And what's nice here is that a lot of this area is already leveled out, so it just sets as like a really good starting ground. You just gotta clean it out a little bit. And then we'll scan this light so we can get it out of the way. And I need to remember how to reorder your hotbar, because right now my items aren't in the greatest of spots. It's like you got some stuff here and some stuff there on the other side of the hotbar. So let's get rid of this tree, which gives you a crazy amount of plant matter. 5,000 plant matter. Compared to like how things started, when it was like you're picking up a plant and getting like 2. It was more than that, but it's so nice when you unlock this whole quality of life. Alright, so we got most of this area cleared out. Grass gone. Nice. All right. So we started getting some of these power floors, as you can see, that allow you to create a grid that's powered. And eventually you can...
Power floor. Build to establish structural foundation and conduct electricity from crank generators.
So you end up being able to create a floor that's, and this is how the electricity is navigated in the game, that will end up powering this grid. So let's start this out. It's nice.
Local signal deciphered. Ingress AS2013. Report to production terminal radio for triangulation.
So we got a radio signal, but we're going to kind of ignore that for now. We're going to continue working on our first assembly system. But first we're going to clean out some of this area. Hey, there's another. All this stuff kind of tends to get buried sometimes. And if you're not, and like I said, this side of the map, like it's dark. So it's like you miss some stuff. You got this area cleared out. Nice. So let's scan this light, and then we'll work on setting up our first assembler. So if I remember right, we go into our tech tree, and we should be able to unlock this, but we might need to create some more research. Yep, we need more research. So let's go in here to X, and we're gonna come over here to production. And I'm just gonna go ahead and craft all 36 of these, because you're gonna end up needing them anyways. And for now, we're just gonna kind of place them in an area that I might just kind of designate over here, because there doesn't seem to be any resources over here. So let's clear this out. And then we're gonna just kind of stack them over here, because you have to unlock that core pad, or whatever it's called, to store these things in a more fashionable way. That costs 50 research, which obviously we don't have right now. So let's figure out a place to store these temporarily, and then eventually we can move them over. So we're gonna go one. Nope. I'm just gonna build a bunch of these. That's weird. Ah, that's what I did wrong. Again, I keep confusing the RB and LB, and when the times I want to hit the one thing, I hit the other. There we go. So we'll let this build through, and we only needed a couple of these. And now we can go into the tech tree, and we should be able to, yep, get this assembler. And then while we're in there, what else can we get? Let's look at terraforming. So the mole, speed, synthesis, craft speeds. We still need to find the scans for the thresher and the planter. Logistics, there's a bunch of stuff we need to scan in here. We can't get this long inserter. So let's go ahead and unlock that. Oh, we need research. That's weird. Why isn't it? I have enough. intermediate. That's weird because it's showing I have 6 and this only needs 4. So I'm not sure. Here's our power grids, so we're gonna need those. And then let's place the rest of these research nodes so that we can continue unlocking. We get the crank generator to create electricity. We're gonna do the mass collect, 'cause, yeah, that's just a must. We need this. I want to get this long inserter, but for some reason it's not opening.
Task inbound. Crank generator. Activate with manual or automated rotation to produce electricity.
So yeah, now we get the crank generator that we can create electricity. And then that'll make it so that we can power our grids. And like I said, we got this giant stream here that we can create these crank generators and power our grid. Oh, we did get this composure pad. So we must have picked one up. So I need to place this down somewhere, but these things are massive. And if I remember right, they need to be powered too. So it's not like you can just drop it down and then put stuff on it. That's why it's still showing red. It's got to be put on a grid, like a power grid. So yeah, we'll have to get to that to the next episode. For now, we'll just kind of manually put them over here. So let's see. So yeah, now we got the crank generators. We got stairs and the power grid floors, components, equipment. Have to set up an entire power grid. So let's get through these researchers. And let's go back to this schematic and go to, there we go, long inserters. Unlocks that. And I don't know why this is showing blocked, because it shouldn't be blocked. Yeah. Oh, you need the filter inserter first. So you can start to see how these, like, the arrows are pointing. So how there's an arrow pointing left off the filter and then the long inserter pointing up. The fast inserter is blocked until you get the filter inserter. But for that, we need to find the scans. So can't quite do that yet. So instead, let's go read this message, and then I think that's going to conclude this video. We didn't get to a whole lot today, kind of just setting up the framework. We went through the technology tree, we set up some research, we got our power grid floor set up, we got our iron and copper productions going. But yeah, let's listen to this message and figure out what the radio, the triangular situation that's coming into play, and I think we're going to end the video on that.
Signal triangulated. New location added to HUD. Mind the voltage.
So we got a new place to go to, and I think we might get to that on the next episode, or on the next episode I think we're going to focus on just building our first assembly engine and setting up power. Yeah, I think next episode is going to be power and the assembler, and then we'll automate these plant matter frames for Victor Terminal. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Subscribe to get notified of future videos. As always, my name's Josh. This is Create the Future. And I'll see you guys later. Stay creative.